It throws me off. For whatever reason, the ringing sound doesn't come through the headphones.
Comes through your computer?
What? No, it just seems
There's no
quiet. Or I guess it could be coming through the computer. It's tough to tell when I have the headphones on, so.
Right.
I was trying to make a couple of adjustments real quick so that I wasn't as loud in my own ear.
I've got a little space heater running underneath my desk, and I want to go further.
Not that I can tell.
Okay. I could turn it off and see if there's a comparison.
I mean, you can, but I don't hear anything coming from your side that's abnormal.
Okay, I turned it off. Any change?
Not that I can tell.
Well, if it turns out to be a problem in post, I pre-apologize. If not,
lessons learned.
Yeah.
I almost had one running down here. I ran it for a little bit before coming down.
Just to zap the chill.
Yeah.
I couldn't get my... Go ahead.
I was just going to say that's the one negative about the way I have everything rearranged, because there's a draft on the outside door.
Oh, yeah. Well, I couldn't get my feet warm, and every time I thought about my feet being cold, I thought about, you'd go sit in your little hot tub, and and I'm like, that is a thing that I want, is a little hot tub, because I love hot tubs. But just to like sit there, get warm, and when you get out, it's like one of the best things when you get out and you're like, yeah, I know it's cold out here, but I don't feel cold because your body has just gotten that warmth in.
And I don't know what it is this year. I don't remember it being this way last year, but I've gotten chilled without being able to get warm. It feels like more frequently this year.
I'm afraid that my concern, and I don't know if this is the case for you or for whatever, but my concern is that as we progress through middle age, the my heater in the core of my body is not as powerful as it used to be.
I mean, it would certainly make sense. I know I've been more prone to getting chilled anyway since I started shaving the head.
That's right. You did talk about once you lost weight, you noticed that it was a little bit chillier in the world, and that makes sense.
And so it wouldn't surprise me if there's a correlation there with just general fitness levels and lack of insulation, for a better way of putting it.
Yeah. Speaking of fitness levels, congratulations on the purple belt.
Thank you. Today was actually the first time I made it to class to wear it post receiving it, because I had to replace garage door springs yesterday.
Oh, that seems dangerous.
Yeah, I called somebody.
Yeah.
I've heard too many stories of people getting hurt trying to do it themselves.
Yeah, that's not I've replaced the opener part, the motor.
Yeah, I've done one of those.
Yeah, that's not too hard, but no, I wouldn't do the springs. I had some the last time that I had a spring break at my old house, and yeah, I paid for someone to go fix that. That was not.
I was actually expecting it to be worse than it was cost wise.
Yeah, it's not too bad. I can't. It's like a few $100, I think.
Yeah, well, I don't know what the comparison would have been before, but here it was $350 for the guy that came out and replaced both.
Yeah, that sounds right. Both springs?
Yeah.
On one door or both?
We only have the one door.
You have the one door.
Two
okay.
springs, yeah. Yeah, when he got here, he said, my only question is, what's the likelihood of me calling you back if we don't replace both? He said, yeah, I only do them in pairs for that specific reason.
Well, and I think also it's like at that point, the new one is being new, and there's somehow more strain on the old one.
Yeah, it would make sense.
I don't know.
I don't completely get how they work.
Oh, yeah, there's videos on YouTube that will explain it. I have watched them and have understood them and then forgot them.
Yeah, I have a rough idea of the concept, but I didn't bother watching it be replaced because I was working on something at the same time. And so I just, left him to do his thing. And I get the idea, but it seems strange that it's two big springs that way. Not that it really makes a difference, but a quick funny thing on the belt. I forget how easy it is for the new belts to untie themselves before they get broken in.
Uh-huh.
It's one of those things that you don't change belts often enough, because it's, a couple of years per belt typically. And so it just surprised me when barely doing anything and it's being untied. It's, oh yeah, I remember this being a thing.
So is this, I was going to say, is it one of those, oh yeah, I forgot about this kind of moments? Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that's a fun moment for a bit.
It's also funny because it's technically, there are a lot of competitors who will intentionally tie theirs in a way that it comes loose as well, because it, in theory, lessens the likelihood of your opponent using the belt against you.
Interesting.
Because you can make a grip on the belt just like you could any other piece of fabric. So,
right. And if it's tied tight, if you've got a good grip on the back or the side, I can see. Disadvantageous.
Yep.
I like that word. It's a good word.
It is.
So I see you've got some thoughts about Finder. What's been going on there?
I do. And I was very adamant that it should go away. Like I almost considered researching my best alternatives for changing platforms when it frustrated me. The stupidest thing. So obviously I work with a large number of files anymore at this point. And because of storage constraints, I move stuff around. So I've got working folders on the laptop, and then I'll archive them off to externals. I do have one external that's a duplicate of my working copies at any given time. Excuse me. So I have one external that I keep synchronized with what's on the laptop, just in case I have a problem with the laptop and need access to those files. But I was moving stuff from my working folders to my archive drives, and after I moved them, I could not get the Finder to refresh to confirm that everything was in sync the way it needed to be. And then I couldn't delete things and have it refresh the free space. And I even tried forcing refreshes with like disk utility to run first aid and everything short of restarting the computer. Because I shouldn't have to restart the computer for the Finder to refresh. Period. And eventually, I was about to sit down and write a script that would force some stuff and do a couple of checksums on folders so that I could confirm everything. And then I thought, well, I've got one more last-ditch effort that I can use, and that is I'll just kick off a backup using Carbon Copy Cloner, since that's what I have swapped to. And it forced a refresh on its own somehow. I don't know how, since nothing else I did managed to do it, but that's a trick that I'll keep handy in the event that this shit annoys me again.
Whatever the next OS is, it's supposed to be, this year. It's this year. The 27 OSs are supposed to be Snow Leopard-esque.
At this point, I don't even understand what's going on for the Finder not to refresh something that trivial. Like, did they decide to make certain things background processes all of a sudden, or you know what I mean?
I don't know. It seems like other than like the way the way things look, I wouldn't have expected much to have been done. But I guess I don't know. I'm not a developer.
Well, I noticed there was some sluggishness in refreshing. Like I could download something and it would show the .download the part extension until I clicked to another folder and clicked back, and then it would refresh. And that was annoying, but I could deal with that. But I noticed that happening at least since 26 Tahoe, right? Tahoe is the name? Yeah. At least since that. But I think it started happening in the previous OS.
Interesting. I haven't noticed either, and I'm most of my day is spent on a machine running Sequoia, so I'd probably have more frustrations and more if it was running Tahoe. But
the only saving grace with that, all the frustration that I encountered with that one, is I don't normally have to move that many files around and do comparisons that quickly.
Yeah.
Normally I don't have quite as big of a job or task. And what I was doing this time was I had, I don't know, a combined total of about 10,000 photos that I needed to move
Oh,
around
wow.
from.
That's a lot.
Well, it's from the gyms, all the jiu-jitsu stuff. And so I needed to take all of the old photos that I'd already gone through and sorted and archived them off, but I needed to keep the structure available in the photo library, or I needed to keep the references available in the photo library. So I couldn't just create a new photo library because I wanted to be able to go back and compare with the cached thumbnails or anything else I might need to do. And that way I could find something if I was looking for it. But it was maddening. And I walked away from it for a good 15 minutes thinking, all right, maybe I just need it to catch up. Maybe I'm just moving too many files around. And it still never did.
No, that's not a thing. It's like there should be no such thing as like I move too many files around. Yes, will something take longer because it's a lot of things? Yes, but this is not good.
And the fact that you couldn't just force a refresh. I even force quit Finder, and it still wouldn't update stuff. Or relaunch, I guess.
Relaunch,
is what I did.
Relaunch,
but
yeah,
same mechanism.
It's like it's there to make you feel better, but it doesn't actually do anything, kind of thing. It seems, or whatever it was just not responding to it. So
I did a quick search too, obviously, just to see, and people have been reporting issues for a couple of different OS versions apparently that are similar. They weren't the same as what I was doing. The issue that they were reporting was the whole download something and then have to click off and go back in to see it. So apparently that has been buggy for a while, and I just didn't see it until this OS that I know for sure.
Right. Interesting.
It does make me wonder a little bit if it's just some combination of different apps that I'm using that might have accessibility permissions for viewing the screen and all too. And some issue there. But even then, come on, Finder shouldn't screw up that bad.
Yeah, it's an odd one. I haven't experienced it, but see, I probably would have been just restart. I would have restarted so much sooner. It doesn't take much. Well, and I think part of it is informed by the malware that the IT people install on my work computer. Just has me restarting. I restarted at the beginning of the week most weeks, and if I've had things where it's I'll lose connectivity on the network, whether it's to the internet or it never seems to be Wi-Fi connectivity, but for some reason it's a problem, and I'll restart it and it goes away. So
yeah, normally I would have restarted faster probably, but I had something else that was running at the same time. It was, and it wasn't anything.
Yeah,
wasn't anything big. I can't remember what it was. It might have just been a catalog indexing process or something.
But how annoying is it?
Yeah,
it's so. Yeah, I get that. That makes a lot of sense as to why you didn't restart so quickly.
And honestly, after you would think, if nothing else, even if the folder view didn't refresh, running first aid should have kicked off something. I can't see that first aid did anything other than a GUI interface that changed.
Yeah, I don't know that. I feel like this is first aid in disk utility.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like disk utility is just really doesn't. It's not really helpful anymore.
Yeah, there's a lot that I've decided is unhelpful in recent days. Just things like that. I've had issues with stuff on the phone not refreshing in the phone app. The rewritten new one.
Oh yeah.
I very often I have to quit the phone app and then relaunch it for it to refresh and show me whatever I know was sitting there that because I got a notification about it, but it for whatever reason, doesn't want to refresh and show it.
The only thing I've had on iOS has been like when I go to a website, I like to hold down the dot for adding a .com, .edu, .org, and I'll hold it down, and it was I don't ever remember it not being not functioning correctly. And as soon as iOS 26, I would hold the dot, and sometimes it would work, and sometimes it would just give me a dot, and sometimes it would give me another dot, and sometimes it give me another dot, and sometimes it'll give me the whole .com. So it's hit or miss. And the other thing I see is the icons for the apps on my home screen redraw. I catch them having to redraw from time to time.
I do see that behavior, but I think I understand what's happening with that one. They introduced the ability to change it for like clear or tinted and all that stuff. I think there's some layer written in SwiftUI where it's watching for that flag and occasionally just has to recreate it. And the only reason I think that that's the case is because in my app, I see a delay sometimes when it create a new entry, but I know the mechanism that displays those entries is specifically related to state variables within SwiftUI. And so it's like it has to go back through the array real quick.
It seems like it shouldn't have to do that, though.
Oh, I agree. It should.
Okay.
It's just one of those things that I think I at least kind of know what might be going on with that one.
Yeah, I see.
And to be fair, I can take that as a occasional, like I have to pause for it to refresh, but I see it happening kind of thing over this Finder bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Like even if there was something with that being like a shared code base, I don't know how much of Springboard shares anything with Finder anymore, but maybe that's a semi-rational thought process. It's just, if so, it's completely fucked on macOS.
Yeah. Well, maybe September will bring us some good things.
I'm starting to get my hopes up.
Yeah.
I think that's all I have on bashing the Finder.
At least the icon's pretty, right?
I mean, it does look better. I do appreciate the appearance. I just hate the functionality now, which I would take the functionality over the appearance any day.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I think, I don't know. I got nothing.
Yeah, I did not have a chance to peruse anything for topics either, unfortunately. Today was just a hectic day. I always forget how busy, I guess, for lack of a better word, like solo parenting days go. Because I'll get, my stuff done, but then I have to turn around and get the other stuff done that normally somebody else would handle. And I just always forget how that compounds on everything else. So
I read somewhere this woman was talking about how her coworker's wife was out of town, and he had to take care of his 3 and 5-year-old, and he had to take the day off to take care of them, even though they went to daycare. They still went to daycare, and I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, I don't.
Comments were like, at least he recognizes that it's hard work.
It's one of those things too, though, that if you can't. Well, I shouldn't jump to conclusions. Like I guess depending on the type of work you do, it could be difficult. But if they're still going to daycare, you would think that at a minimum a shortened day would make sense. But you might work in an environment where shortened days aren't an option. So
yeah, I don't know this particular person nor their situation, and so I won't comment on this particular person or situation, but what I do understand is there are a lot of dads out there. There are a lot of husbands out there. There are a lot of men out there that don't realize how much help they get from those around them.
Yeah.
Until it's missing. And it's just the optics are so bad when they complain. Like you're making us look worse, dude.
And there are, I mean, part of where my mind often goes with those types of comments too, there are a lot that just aren't as involved as others. Not saying they're not involved, but their involvement is time boxed typically because it's around working hours, and so they just don't realize the other stuff. And like I don't think it's necessarily ignorance. It's just they don't have to deal with it. I'll use an example for me. Like I have no clue this year what the routine on papers coming from school getting signed and sent back and all would be. I never see it. And it's not necessarily that I don't know what's going on. It's that one specific little thing is just never brought to me because of proximity to where my son puts his stuff up when he comes home, to significant others' work environment and everything. And it's just, why wouldn't he take 2 steps over there and hand it off instead of walking downstairs to hand it to me?
Right.
But it's also something that I at least know, all right, well, when it is just me, I need to make sure I remember to double check if anything came home in a binder that I need to be concerned about, signing and sending back.
My favorite is when they tell you like 2 minutes before bed.
Yeah. Thankfully, we haven't had anything quite that bad so far. Well, we've had a couple of things that were close, but it stemmed from, this would be an interesting enough, I guess, side tangent. So this year has been the first year that we've really dealt with homework in the somewhat traditional sense of the word.
It's 4th grade, right?
Yeah. And, he's had homework in the past, but it was so minimal and he was so far advanced that it didn't matter. Like he could,
right.
He could not even try and it be done kind of thing.
Right.
And so this year there's a different couple of things where like the instructions were lost in translation. And so I'm sure if you're anywhere in the Southeast and probably most of the country, you've heard of iReady because it seems to be pretty common across most school districts or something similar. And what it is just a application that you have lessons on different topics that you complete. And I really dislike this thing because it's not assigned lessons from the teacher. It learns based on what you've completed. And so you can quickly surpass what you are supposed to be learning. So like where we found we had a problem was he was supposed to complete X number of lessons in a week. And we were at a loss as to why it was taking all available waking hours to complete that number of lessons. And then eventually dug in and found out that the lessons he was doing, that it had provided him because of where he was on topics, were things that he was having to teach himself how to do that were a grade or 2 levels beyond where he is. And so he was completing lessons, but it was taking forever to get through it because he'd have to figure it out and understand it and then be able to finally get to the point of completing the lessons. And then, with some back and forth with the school, we finally found out that the teachers have no control over the subject matter, but that the expectation was spend no more than 20 active minutes doing it, period, for a day.
I don't like it.
Whether you did part of a lesson or anything else, doesn't matter. But at the end of that 20 minutes, you cut it off. And I still don't like it at all.
I don't like it.
But that at least made more sense to me than the assignment being, you have to do X number of lessons.
Right. I still don't like it.
No, I don't either. I think it's absolute horseshit that is the state of teaching.
It's like people who listen
to subject matter.
That's like people who listen to the radio willy-nilly and have no control over the songs that come on. Like, what kind of life is that? Just kidding. No, that was me. That was me 25 years ago. Like,
oh yeah, we progressed beyond this, though.
Yeah.
Like I don't understand why the teacher doesn't have discretion to be able to say, oh, no, I have students who are going well beyond where they need to. I can uh, cap it or do something to keep them from seeing this type of material, and it'll just kind of be at a plateau with completing some lessons or something. Like I don't know. I don't understand that.
And then as a kid, there are certain things you just don't get. I can remember being in first grade and coming home, and the that week the spelling lesson was for the first time written in cursive in the book, and I took that as like, well, now I must write everything. I must do all of my work in cursive, and like I spent way too long. And then I remember my mom finally, like after I had been working on homework for hours, my mom was like, "Did your teacher tell you to write in cursive?" And I was like, "No." What? Do it in print. And I was done with my homework in minutes. And so I can remember being just like, oh, I see cursive. I have to do it now. I don't know why. Nobody told me that. I knew that she didn't tell me that. But I was just like, it's upon, I must take on this challenge.
Yeah, it's something he would do for sure. So when I was noticing that we just were not getting through homework, I finally sat down with him and watched. And there were two things I noticed. One, one reaffirmed how shitty Chromebooks are as far as an interface goes.
Yeah.
But one was watching him try to make perfect lines and all. And so he would find that the touchscreen wouldn't work, and so he would have to do it with the trackpad. But then he would draw it and then erase it, draw it, erase it, draw it, erase it, over and over and over and over.
I'm guessing
so we had to
shift is not a helper here.
Yeah, no. So we had to address that. Had to address some basic multiple choice, like test taking types of strategies, because he would solve or attempt to solve all of the answers instead of being able to say, well, I know this can't be it because you can't get this number. That kind of thing. And so worked through some of that, and then finally, because I don't know what's taught at different grade levels. It's not like I remember. But he was doing, I think it was fractional division, or may have been fractional multiplication. Either way, something with fractions. And I finally just asked him, like, are you doing this in class? And he said, no. Wait a minute. Okay, what are you doing in class? And so we had discussion about what they were doing versus what he was seeing and what he had been seeing on this program and all, and just that's what eventually led to, okay, I'm going to send an email to your teacher because one, I'm going to have to go take a trip up to the school if I don't like the response, and two, this is just BS. And so sent an email, and then got the first email was more like, I'm seeing this behavior. What are the expectations? What's it look like? And we kind of continued without changing anything for about a week, and then sent follow-up email and say, okay, something's not right because we're still spending 4 to 6 hours a day on homework, and I refuse to let that be a thing. And that's when the conversation finally kind of stemmed more toward what was done in class, and confirming what was done in class, and confirming how iReady worked, and all that stuff. So just absolute nightmare of a program.
Yeah. It's...
And I have yet to meet any teacher that actually likes it.
Oh, it sounds like Oracle shit.
Yeah.
Software that's designed to be easy to sell.
It's my understanding from talking to other teachers at different grade levels, people who are friends who happen to be teachers. My understanding is that iReady is used because it's easily quantifiable and translates well to tests. And so the standardized testing for scoring and everything else with the educational systems, like that's all it's for. It's the only reason it's used is because it's essentially just continual test prep.
God forbid we learn anything.
I know. I'm so thankful that my son has the parents he has.
Well, you can pat yourself on the back for that one.
Yeah. Just reaffirms my long held belief that the school system doesn't teach anything. Doesn't matter what school system you're in. The better school systems just have more access to better teachers who at least try to care.
Yeah.
So much negativity. We need a positive topic. It's all my fault anyway.
No, I just no, I could have given you plenty of negative topics. I'm not sure. To stay on the negative, I was like, do you know what kind of terrible person you have to be walking outside, slip on ice, fall and hit your head, and people laugh at you and be excited that you fell? I don't know if you've seen this video of the ice versus ice making rounds.
I have. I think I've mentioned it before. Are you aware of the Cats on a Couch Instagram?
Yes.
Okay. That's the first reference I saw to it was from there.
I'm just like, you have to be a real... It's just a testament to how terrible of a person, how terrible of a position you've put yourself in. Because most of the time when something like that happens, people are like, they want to make sure you're okay. Like, it's usually they go too far the other way, but yeah.
So I actually, continuing that train of thought, I saw a post telling people in Minneapolis that this I think it was the Cats on the Couch actually account as well, mentioning I need all of my petty friends to go out and turn on the water on the street and send videos of ice.
Yeah. It's not good.
I mean, obviously, it's well deserved at this point. I think, based on
for sure,
actions of the agencies. It is one of those things that I do feel somewhat torn about in certain ways. Very minimal, and I'll explain in just a moment. But I always have this bit of dissonance between people who are legitimately just doing their job or attempting to just do their job, and like the ramifications of poor leadership, just as a general concept. And the reason I say it this way is because there have to be ICE agents who were ICE agents before all of this, who actually were trying to do things the right way. Now, where they've gone, I don't know. We just don't hear about those stories at this point because of the overwhelming number of other stories, I assume.
Yeah, I'd expect so.
But those types of people, the people who were already there, who were trying to do things the right way, those are the people I feel sorry for. And, the guy that slipped on ice might have been one of those guys. But now a byproduct of all of the other stuff has meant that whether you are or aren't, there's not enough visible behaviors from inside doing the right thing to not label everybody bad. Like it's almost like anyone left who was trying to do it right has now become complicit because they're not standing up against those who aren't.
Yeah, and the other thought I have is like, people in this country already don't like the police, and it's like I'm now hearing people comparing. It's like, why can't you be as good as the regular police? And it's like,
I think that's also part of why I have this little bit of dissonance, because I know other branches of law enforcement, like I know a number of different people in other branches of law enforcement that are great people who really do try to do everything they can to help other people, even if something in the line of their work doesn't allow them to. And so I'm sympathetic because of the people I know, but I don't know anybody who's an ICE agent.
Well, in both cases, the problems that ICE and the standard law enforcement has is a systemic top-down issue.
Yeah.
And the problem aren't most of the officers. Well, I don't know about I don't know about ICE. I can't speak for ICE, but at some point, I know 100% of the people that are ICE officers, agents, are not evil. What they're, what we're seeing, what's being brought, what's being put in front of us is definitely evil, and those people are definitely doing bad things. And the problem when you have a, from the top down systemic issue is that it allows for people who maybe wouldn't otherwise be evil, or who would just be evil on their own. It gives them a place and a voice and a platform to be evil instead of trying to correct the problems. And then, if you have somebody who's good in the system, like let's be the change that we want to see, they are punished for trying to be the good in the world that we need.
I assume you saw the was it one of yours, all of ours, or one of, I don't remember the phrase.
Yeah, one of ours, all of yours.
Something to that effect.
Yeah, I've seen it.
The fact that has been,
let's call out where it came
embraced
from.
in public. Yeah, it came from Nazi Germany.
Yes.
The actual, just in case someone listening doesn't know the origin, it was, I don't remember where specifically, but a Nazi soldier was killed in a village, and so the Nazis killed all of the men in that village. Essentially stating that one Nazi was worth more than all of their men.
Right.
So yeah, absolute horrible thing to be posted publicly on a podium of all things. If it were something that happened to be on a poster in a shot somewhere, that's bad enough. But for it to have been obviously ordered and presented in a way, there's no way whoever requested it did not know the origin of the quote.
Right, whereas I think in this case they know exactly where this came from.
I'm certain they do, yeah.
Yeah, one of ours, all of yours, was coined by when an SS officer was killed and the Nazis murdered every male resident of the village in response. It was the lightest massacre of 1942, June 2nd or June 9th, 1942. It was in a Czech village. It's absolutely despicable. Like I can, I said, I don't know if that, the ice officer that slipped on ice, I don't know if he's bad or not. He seemed to be doing a bad thing in the moment. But I know that Kristi Noem is a bad person. And I know that Donald Trump is a bad person, and J.D. Vance is a bad person. They are all bad people.
Yeah, no disagreement there from my view.
And I believe in reconciliation, but that does not mean that you do not have to, that you get to be absolved of the punishment that is required for the bad things that you have done.
Yeah, I think that's where our views differ a little bit. Like, I would like to believe in reconciliation. I think there's a point where you cross a line, where there's just no sense of.
I guess it depends on how you define reconciliation.
Well, that's fair.
Because I think when I say reconciliation, I think that these people can turn around and do good things in life, but they must answer for the bad that they did do. It's not you're not doing more good things. Like even if they turn around and do more good things in the remainder of their life, it doesn't absolve them from the bad things that they did.
Yeah, that's fair. I'd be okay with that view.
Our opinions can change of them because of the greater good that they did, but it's not usually it's not typical that this is a dynamic that we face. It's pretty atypical. The person I can think of is former Governor Wallace from Alabama. Was horrible segregationist, and the story is that sometime later in life he became a unifying power. But it's just like, it's not what you're gonna, it's not what people know you for. It's I'm not going to say it's too little too late, because it's, it was good that wasn't being done in the world that started being done in the world. And that's good. But people are going to remember you for the bad things that you did as well.
Yeah, I would say at some point I would read up a bit on Alabama history, but I don't want to claim the state enough to do so. It's bad enough that I know a decent amount about Georgia history.
We don't need no stinking borders. I mean, borders are just about power.
I mean, we've talked about it before. The state system feels antiquated, but
the nation-state system feels antiquated.
Yeah, but if not for the state system, there'd be absolutely no opposition to the current administration.
That's fair.
So it is kind of an interesting dynamic that I certainly wouldn't have seen it coming, where I would say, okay, well, maybe the system's not as horrific as it might have seemed prior. Or outdated, maybe is a better word than horrific. I saw a quick map that was had the United States in red on one side and had every country except the United States in red on the other. And it said, just in case you Americans need a visual reminder, this is your concern. And it was obviously the U.S. shaded map. And this is not your concern. And it was the rest of the world shaded map. And you got a good chuckle out of it based on the current administration's seeming plans.
Yeah, my favorite joke this week was that Denmark renamed Greenland to Epstein Island. So that Trump would leave it alone.
I did see. Did you watch any of the Daily Show talk about Venezuela?
Yeah.
So I did see where there was the commentary about Trump declaring himself president of Venezuela. Apparently,
I saw where he stated he'd be the one to run it, but I didn't see that he declared himself president.
I don't know if he actually declared himself president or if it was, taking it the next step because of him saying running and everything. But the joke was talking about, isn't there a non-compete or something like that in your job description, or do we need to start assigning presidents in other countries, kind of thing? And I'm sure we could all take one.
Well, my favorite thing was can we get another country to come and take our president the way he took Venezuela's president?
Yeah.
It's we'll help.
Are you available tomorrow?
We have a number of different ways set up for you to get in touch with us to provide feedback, ask questions, or just comment in about something we've discussed.
You can hit us up on Twitter or Instagram at untitled_hosts. Or shoot an email over to untitled.hosts@gmail.com.
Or get in touch directly with Jesse at jthart.com. Or get in touch with me, John, via telepathy.
If you would like to support our work or are interested in listening to our new after-show feed, head over to patreon.com/theUntitledPodcast and take a look at the options we have set up.
Thank you for listening.
We hope you've enjoyed the show.
And we hope to connect with more of you as we continue this journey.
That's a wrap.